There you go.
Hi guys, welcome back. So after we finished recording our last video talking about COVID-19 and the dental community, Martell and Sarah and I just kind of kept talking about mental health and how we were doing and how we were coping with being out of work and at home, stuck in the house with the kids. So we figured we just start recording again so we can share these discussions with you guys to see how you guys are doing, how you're managing, give you guys any of our things that we're doing to kind of help get through this process. So initially we were just talking about, how we're dealing with being cooped up in the house. A lot of y'all like us are under quarantine or just practicing social distancing. So what do you guys think? Like, how are you guys doing right now?
Like, I feel like, like mental health is playing a huge role in what we're dealing with. Like this unexpected quarantine, it's pretty much a form of trauma for us. Like some of us we're seeing it. It's being manifested in some of the Facebook posts you see. People being really ugly to each other, commenting on stuff like they're triggered because it's like everybody's going through this together. You can post something that's lighthearted and someone will take it as like, well, what do you mean? For instance, like I made a video and it was just a funny, cute video about not wanting to go back to work after. And someone really took to heart to like, well, some people, they have money, need money and whatever. Yes, I need money too. I'm not keeping up with the Kardashians or anything like that. But it was just a cute video. But like that person, I'm not going to react to a comment like that because I understand like that person, it probably triggered something in them. So it's important to realize that we're all dealing with this unexpected. It's trauma, and you're going to see it and just be mindful and try to stay positive, and not react to everything that you see because it's not necessarily you don't even know that you're doing it. Like it's just so many things going on in your head. Like we're stuck in the house. Like some of us are, all of our classes, like my classes went from going to school, taking 6 classes to 6 classes online. And then they're like, all of these things, I've been missing assignments. I've been failing quizzes. I'm like, they're like, don't cheat. I'm like, don't cheat. Like we taking online classes. That's what you do with online classes. You look up the Quizlet. But just like y'all just stressing us out. Like what in the world? Like you mean don't cheat? Like I got 5 minutes to take this exam. Like it's just been horrible. But it's like all of these things now, your home, your kids, my kids have to work on the computer. And I'm like, okay, so we have 2 computers, but only one has a really strong connection. So like I have to make sure they do their work, and that now I'm a teacher, and now I'm the lunch lady. And I just don't do things like that. Like you're used to going to work, coming home, and your routine, and now your routine is thrown off, and like we don't know what to do. So we're kind of like settling in, and we don't know how long this is going to be. Some people are not going to be back at work until June, or who knows? We don't know. So it's really important to like have a support system, have a community, or somebody that you can say, I'm in social isolation, but like I can call my friend and then we just talk about this, or we can have a virtual kickback where we're just drinking wine and talking, or working out virtually. Like just try to do something to get your mind. You can still take a walk, it's not the apocalypse outside. It's nice and sunny. Like go out there, walk, run. Like just find something else to do. Like I've been busy. Everybody is busy. Everybody has so much to do, but not enough time. And it's okay to just sit there and sleep. Yesterday I got overwhelmed. I was looking at a bunch of assignments that I had to do, and I was like, you know what? I'm about to take a nap, and when I wake up, and I felt much better. After this, a lot of people are like, there's so much go. You're probably going to have to like talk to someone outside of just, your friends and family. Like a lot of us are probably going to have to seek counseling somewhere else, and that's okay. Before this, I was like, dang, do I need medication, or am I just triggered for every little thing? It's just one thing after another. So we just wanted to continue the discussion about how checking in and understanding that mental health is okay. We're all experiencing the same thing, and it's okay if you're just like, you don't know, if you just want to sit there and cry in the shower. Like I've done it plenty of times. Just try not to lash out on other people when you're on Facebook, or even your family members. Like, you probably hear that door clicking right now. I lock my kids out so that I can do this, and I'm gonna ignore them the entire time, because you know what, this is my time. Like, we're here, and you have to, you got to do what you got to do. No judgment. In the beginning of the quarantine, I think it was like day 6, and I was like, I'm gonna go visit my friend, and I left and I visited my friend, and a lot of people were posting like, oh, this is not the time to be hanging out with your friends. Well, guess what? Somebody ain't coming out of this thing if I don't get out. So I tried to like tell my husband. He's like, we're in a state of emergency, and you're gonna go hang out with your friend. And I'm like, well, when I went to the grocery store, and the lady was scanning my groceries, and then somebody was bagging them. What about that? Like, I'm not gonna be, twerking on top of my friend, and like we can maintain the 6 feet distance, like no one's coughing or anything, but like sometimes you just need to do that. So this is just a discussion for that. I know Sarah, she has her Facebook group, and she's been monitoring a lot of the comments that are in there of a lot of people just not being very nice or very kind to one another. So
yeah, I think we just need to, kind of like what you've hit on is some of us didn't have a lot of time before then, and we were busy doing a bunch of things. And now for some people like me, I have more time than I've ever had, because what else do I have to do? And so, that you probably will spend more time online because you're trying to connect with somebody. So being mindful of everybody's experiences, like we're all kind of suffering mentally with either information overload or isolation or anxiety, or depression, or worrying about every little thing, worrying about our own health, our family's health. So we're all kind of on edge. And if you see something out there that you don't agree with, then just move on. It's not, you don't have to argue about every little thing. We're not all going to agree, as long as it's not derogatory or, really disrespectful. Like, just, if it's an opinion you don't agree with, that's okay. Move on, So, kind of like what Martell was saying, like I've had to get out of the house too. Like I went to my parents' house, and they sat on their front porch, and I took my daughter over there, and we sat in the front yard. We've got our like camping chairs and our blankets, and we sat really far apart. But I needed that. Like, I've been FaceTiming my mom and my my family, but that's not enough. Like, I wanted to see them in real life. So we live like a quarter of a mile apart from each other or something, not a lot, but I just had to like get out of the house, make the drive, and just sit in the front yard. And and that made me feel so much better, So just getting creative and just getting out, it's so easy to get cooped up. And I mean, I have 2 kids too, one that's 10 and one that's 7. And so like I'm going to be the teacher starting Monday with their online classes. And I'm kind of stressing out because I'm like, well, I've never done this before, as far as like the technology that they're wanting us to use. I'm sure I'll get it, but it's going to be stressful, I'm going to make mistakes. Like, my kids probably are going to check in late. I mean, I guess, I don't know how it's going to, so the unknown too can sort of put us on edge and make us have anxiety. I'm speaking for myself. Like, I do suffer from anxiety, and feeling like things are out of my control sometimes is a hard thing for me. So this, I feel like identifies our weaknesses, in this form of isolation. So we really just sort of, magnify all the things that we worry about, and now we're like left to deal with them. Like, there's no more going to work or going and distracting yourself. Like, they're in your face, and you have to deal with these things that you've put aside, by eating or working.
Yes,
so
for sure.
That's right.
Those are just like going to work, going to the gym, going to Target. Like, those are all distractions that we're like, we need to break. Like, I'm going to go to Target really quick. Like, you don't need nothing from Target, okay? Sit down. But like, those are distractions that we can't do those anymore. So now we're like, we have to face, the pile of clothes that are there. And
no, you don't.
Start the dryer again. Let him tumble a little longer.
That's something like someone was like, I'm spring cleaning. I'm like, ooh, yeah, not yet. Not yet.
It's crazy though, because some days, like, I'm like, do I even want to take a shower? Like, do you know? Like,
do I need to? Like,
I know. Nobody's gonna see me. no, do I want to do my hair? I mean, I used to love doing my hair and
Right.
makeup, and I still do, but it's like, gosh, I'm kind of like depressed about it,
Yeah.
So if I just get in the shower, like just take a shower, that really gets me like, okay, I can do the next step. I know I sound super lazy right now.
No, I've been lazy too. Like I was like in pajamas most of the day, and then I was like, dang, I didn't put on deodorant all week. Like this is what I smell like. Like what in the world? Like where am I going? Those are chemicals. Why do I have to put on deodorant? Like so we are, and we're doing things that we normally don't do, and it's kind of funny. And if you just sit back, like you can really laugh and appreciate the laughter therapy. Like this is, we're out here, we're making TikTok videos. Like just do something that's gonna, brighten up what's going on. Like this is
well, full disclosure. I have on this nice pretty dress, and I have on my pajama bottoms underneath it. I'm 100% honest. I have on my pajama bottoms.
Are you willing to show you? Because I'll show you my pajama bottoms. Do you want to see mine?
Yeah, let's see it. Let's see it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on.
Let's see it.
Let's have her go first. Those are
know what?
Cute.
I'm not lying. I have on my pink polka dot pajamas underneath my dress. So,
okay, mine have penguins on them. Let me see if I can.
Let's see.
Do the camera. See?
Yep.
Little penguins. And yeah, that's how fancy it is here.
I've been in my pajamas for 2 days. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but I've been in the house too. It's me, my 6-year-old, and my 2-year-old, and we've just been kind of relaxed, and we've been doing online classes, here and there, but her teachers actually recommended 20 minutes on and then give them a break, so we'll do some math and she's kindergarten, so her attention span is much shorter than some of the bigger kids, but 20 minutes on, then she goes and plays and whatever when we do the next subject and probably the next hour. But it's been kind of hard just being in the house, and myself and 3 of my best friends in the world, we graduated Dental High School together 11 years ago. We've been Facebook chatting and video chatting like every day, just talking about the woes and the highs and lows of being in the house with your kids when you're not used to it. And we've been helping get each other over it. And we did meet up last Saturday, full disclosure, and had food and wine, and it was really like we sat at her table for 6 hours. And drank and talked and drank, and I did not want to go home and get my kids from my mom. I really didn't, because my husband's deployed, but it was a lot, and it helped us all feel a whole lot better.
Yeah, you need that. You need to take those breaks.
Yeah, you need it.
You just have to do what's best for your mental sanity, because the last thing that anybody wants is for someone to feel like they're a prisoner or they can't do anything and then have a nervous breakdown. Like I haven't had a nervous breakdown in a long time, but let me tell you, last week I was close. I was just like it was just so much going on. It's so overwhelming. And then it's like the schools, like the kids' teachers, they're like emailing back to back to back. And I'm like, I'm getting emails from my schools. I'm getting emails. Like, it's just so much going on. And you're like, okay. I actually texted her and was like, can you email my husband? Because he's just living life. Like, he's still going to work. He's just riding around. He's a state trooper. I'm like, you out here living your best life. Like, oh, yeah, we just, we're told to do whatever. But I'm just like, no, email him. Like, I have a lot going on. And I felt bad, but I'm like, can you just please email him in the nicest way that I could? Like, I have too much going on.
Yeah. I know. I feel like emails are coming through from, I'm sure I can think of one that I've missed the deadline on returning an email to somebody, and it's like, oh, I just feel terrible. But man, it's like, there's a lot of things coming at you, because that's the only way people are communicating right now is through email and messages. And it's like, gosh, I'm just really having a hard time, keeping on top of all that. And it's so funny because like my kids, like we eat out, like we don't eat at home all the time. And my kids are like, because I've been doing this quarantine thing for probably, it'll be 2 weeks on Saturday or Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. It'll be 2 weeks. So we haven't like went out to eat or anything, and that's not like us. Like we usually eat out like, 2 times a week or so. And my kids are like, Mom, I'm ready for for us to eat out, you know? It's like those little things that I think we all just take for granted, like just being able to get in our car and go to Walmart or Target or wherever, like go get coffee, you know, and for our kids to just, like my son's like, Mom, I really want to go to Walmart and look at the plants. Cause he's 10. He likes to like plant vegetables and stuff. And then we drove by yesterday in Walmart and the plant truck was out there and it was like his favorite brand of plants. And he's like, Mom, can we go look at the plants? I'm like, I'm so sorry. We can't, you know?
Right.
So it's just those things that in your life that you just always took for granted, that you'd get up and go to work, take a shower, go to work, you know, your kids would go to school, and it's not like that anymore, you know?
You definitely start missing those things. I drove yesterday. Some places are open, but some, like Best Buy in our city, Maria and I both live in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and Best Buy here, like it's only curbside pickup. You can order online and then they'll bring out your product to you. You can't go inside. And I just thought that was like the strangest thing ever. But like Kohl's is closed. A lot of stores have limited hours. I can't get a Popeye's chicken sandwich, like they're closed. So I'm just like, you know what, these things are, everything is changing for us. And then we're like, what now? Like, what do you do now? So someone told me about an app that you can download and you can go outside and it takes the noises of the birds, and then you try to identify the bird from the sound. That's something that you can go outside and do with your kids. I thought that was like really creative. So
that's
when you
cool.
were talking about your son with the plants, I'm like, that's a way to get out and introduce him to something else. If he probably is interested in birds.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just have to just get creative in what we're doing. Like I hope that we can do like I see a lot of people doing the virtual parties, days and stuff, like a virtual party. Like that's pretty fun to see. But I would assume that we're gonna start seeing more like workout groups on Facebook and meetups on Facebook, wine and chat or something like that. So yeah, but work doesn't stop. The world stopped, but it really did. Like we just stopped, and we're here, you know, in our little bubble, and then everything's still going. It's still
yes.
going. So
right. And a lot of people are not just, you know, suffering from anxiety. Some people are battling depression, and when your day-to-day change and routine has been completely turned upside down, it can exacerbate your symptoms of depression. So I just want to let everyone know that you don't have to wait until all this is over to seek help. There are plenty of online therapists that you can seek out and actually start speaking to someone just like we're talking right now. You can find a licensed therapist and you can talk to virtually before all this quarantine stuff is over. Last year, I had a lot of stuff going on with my husband deployed. My mom was sick, and then I lost 2 aunts within a 6-month period. Both my aunts passed away, my mom's younger sisters. So for the first time in my life, I had symptoms of anxiety where I didn't even know I had anxiety, but I started having heart palpitations and shortness of breath, and I wasn't sleeping. So I went to the doctor, and she suggested that I see a therapist from where I had just had fatigue for years. We had done B12 injections and iron treatments, and I had a sleep study to make sure I didn't have sleep apnea, and everything was fine. And she was like, well, you're still not sleeping. Maybe you should talk to a therapist. And at first I was like, I don't need no therapist. You know, I'm like, okay, I'll entertain it. So I went, and within 5 minutes, he was telling me that I had, you know, generalized anxiety. And I'm like, no, I don't. But by the end of that first treatment or first visit, he, you know, I was able to understand that I did have generalized anxiety, where I just had this feeling of worry all the time, whether it was for my kids or myself or my family. I was always worried that something bad was going to happen. And so with all this stuff going on, I can't imagine that a lot of people are having the same thing, just generalized worry and anxiety. So thank God he's been able to kind of help me treat it without medication. Not saying that medication is bad, but he taught me some grounding techniques, and you can actually Google grounding techniques for anxiety. And it's really helped me think my way out of my anxiety. When I'm having those anxious feelings, I can actually just stop and take some deep breaths, And the one that I use the most is where you kind of stop and you take some deep breaths and you say 5 things that you can hear, 4 things that you can feel, 3 things that you can see, 2 things that you can taste. And you just, it kind of takes your mind away from the future and away from the past and puts you in the present. So you're sitting there, you're quiet, and you're in your mind, you're talking about what you can see, touch, taste, feel, and smell. So you can't be thinking about the future or the past if you're talking about or thinking about what's going on presently. So it kind of gets you out of your head so that you can kind of focus on the now and not worry about the past or the future. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. And I'm not a therapist. I'm not trying to give, psychological advice, but I just can say that for sure that has helped me a lot. That and meditating with my kids. My 6-year-old has taught me how to, and drinking wine, lots of wine, meditate. So I just want to share that with you guys, let you guys know that you guys are not alone. A lot of us are dealing with anxiety before all of this and during it, and the financial aspect is weighing heavy on most people. Most people were not prepared to just abruptly stop working. A lot of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. So you're not by yourself and don't feel like less than because you were not financially prepared to just abruptly stop working. A lot of households, both husband and wife, are out of work at the same time. Most people are not prepared for that. So, there are resources out there. You can get your car notes deferred. I was able to get my car note deferred for 2 months. Just reach out to all your creditors, your mortgage, your car notes, and see what they can do. Because a lot of people are, extending help for people who need it.
Right. And one thing I noticed, like, it's okay to unplug, delete your social media apps off of your phone if you have. Sometimes that's what it takes. You don't even know, but it's just so much it's a distraction, and that's what we have nothing else to do, and then we go to that. And if you see someone on Facebook posting something that's you're in one mind frame, and then they're posting something that triggers you, whether it be they're having a good time or feel sorry for me or I'm working, whatever it may be to trigger you, like, just know that things that can happen. So you should unplug if you're in a state where you're just feeling depressed, or social media is probably not healthy for you at this point. That's just my opinion. So the girl that Sabrina, I don't know why I keep calling her girl, but the lady that had contracted COVID-19, she it's physical, right? It's a physical stress on the body, but then mental, like, what about all of the things she's thinking about, not being able to work, not being able to do her apparel business. After this, when she's done, how is it going to affect how she gets employment? When she discloses to the practice or the doctor that, yes, I did contract COVID. And she's going to have to let people know, I'm pretty sure. But then all of those things that we're not thinking about that she's probably going through, that's another mental stress on her. So one of the things that we put in our video was a link to help support her. So that takes like that much more stress off of it. And yeah, we're all in the same boat. We're all worried about our bills, but it's just like people like me and people like Maria that are going to donate anyways to support her, because you know what, we're not sick, we're not ill, we have different types of stressors. So even for her to see that, I'm pretty sure that's going to lift her spirit, that's going to lift her, everything that's going on with her physically, because if your mind is not healthy, your body cannot heal. So we all understand that the mind and the body, acts as one. And listen to your body. Like when you have a headache, why do you have a headache? Probably not drinking enough water, or maybe stress, or maybe something else. Like we have to be our own advocates in the sense of, going to the doctor or eating healthy, making better health choices, walking, working out. Now is the time to start thinking about what's important long term. When you go to the doctor, the time is not to go when you have the issue. Don't go because your arm is tingly and you have no sensation. But in the past, you've been having all these other issues, and you're like, you just ignore. I'm the worst person for that. Like I thought I had a sty in my eye, and it's been there and it's still there. And I thought it was just from wearing makeup. Like, maybe it's a sty. I Googled it because, that's what we do. And, we work with our eyes, and I had to a patient actually told me, I'm like, yeah, this thing is in my eye. I don't know what it is. And he's like, you probably should go to the doctor. You work with your eyes. If you lose that eye, then what? And I'm like, you know what? You're absolutely right. And I scheduled an appointment. And it was just a sty. But the fact that it took me 6 months to schedule that appointment because I was in school and I was doing other things and it just wasn't important. But had I lost my vision in that eye, that wouldn't have been the time to go. And I was like, if this doctor doesn't see anything, I'm going to get a second opinion. I really thought I had an amoeba in my eye, and it was like a parasite, and it was just going to eat my eye away. But that's why I really went, to be truthful. That's why I really went, because I was scared. But I should have went when I first got the thing in my eye. I shouldn't have waited,
Amoeba in your eye.
That's what I thought it was for. I thought it was a little bug in there. So
I'm glad I'm not alone in my
I'm a
worries
hypochondriac
like
too. I'll be the first one to say I'm a hypochondriac. So
yeah, me too.
No judgment. No judgment.
Yeah.
So yeah, listen to your body. If you know there's something going on, just listen to your body and say, even when you go to the doctor and they say, well, that's probably not what it is, just be like, fact check, Google.
You have to be your own advocate. Yes. Yes. You have to be your own advocate. My mom was sick last year and she was having heart palpitations, and I'm not a doctor. We see patients and we go over medical history, but I never profess to be a doctor or a PA. They go to school for a long time and I respect that. But when she had these heart palpitations, I thought, oh, she probably has AFib or something. And so we went to the doctor and they did an echocardiogram on her, and they said that she had pulmonary hypertension. I never heard of it before. And so I started Googling obsessively. And when I first started Googling, the life expectancy said it was 2.8 years. And so that kicked my anxiety into overdrive where I was Googling and researching this condition nonstop for about a week. And I mean, day and night at work. I was up to 3 o'clock in the morning learning about this condition, and that I said that she needed, everything that I read said that she needed this certain type of diagnostic test called a right heart catheterization to get the proper diagnosis. So we went back for a follow-up. The doctor was like, okay, you're fine. He put on a blood pressure medication. He's like, you're fine. So, I literally had to be her advocate and go back and forth with this doctor for about 45 minutes about why I felt like she needed this test. And he's a cardiologist, one of a very well-known, respected cardiologist in our town, and went back and forth for a good bit. And he finally relented and said, okay, we'll do this test. So we had the test done, and it turns out she had the worst type that needed a different type of treatment. Yeah. Not just that a high blood pressure medication. So we ended up being referred to Duke. And so literally, if I had not been her advocate and demanded that we do this test, like in the 6 months or a year that she would not have been getting the proper treatment, she could have died or been, much worse off than she is. And so it's just important that and I know this is not the healthcare chat, this is more the mental health chat, but I always like to recommend that people be your own advocate and for your loved ones.
Well, a lot of people are in their mind like, okay, I'm going to the doctor, they're educated, this is their professional opinion, and they get they hear whatever the doctor says, well, this is what it is, and then they say okay, and then that's it. But if you know deep down, listen to the voice in the back of your head, listen to your body, your children, your family members, your loved ones, like keep going. Like don't stop until like you're satisfied. Like if they say red, 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 and everybody's saying red, then guess what? It is red. But like with my son, like I was telling you guys earlier, that there was something in his nose. I thought he had a sinus infection, and I was just like trying to pick at it, and it just kept chipping away, and I didn't know what it was. And he was like 1 at this time, and I took him to the doctor, and they're like, oh, it's a booger. And I'm like, that thing looked like a tooth. That is not a booger. There's something in there. And then they were like, no, I'm going to give him, I don't even know what they said they were going to give him. I'm like, no, I need you to refer me somewhere so that there's something in his nose. And then they ended up referring, it wasn't a pediatric ENT to refer to, but they ended up referring to one. And my son had stuck a peanut in his nose, and it was like the half part of the peanut was stuck all the way in his nose. And they pulled it out, and it was green, and it was just slimy. And the doctor's like, he could have died. Like if this would have stayed in there, had I taken that it's just a booger. Like, that was a big booger, and it was hard, and it was like, no, it's a tooth. That's not a booger. Something's in there. But, you know, he took it out, but, you know, I didn't stop there. And if I would have, then that would have been really bad. Like, I probably would have lost my son. Just keep going.
And I think you guys bring great points about, like, you know, the difference between mental health and physical health. Like, some ailments that are physical, we have signs and symptoms, you know, that signs that they can see that, you know, are outwardly obvious. But with the mental health, we can't look at somebody and say, oh, well, they're depressed, or, oh, they have anxiety. I mean, you hide it really well. And, you know, it's a bigger issue than just, you know, what we can go over today. But yeah, if you feel something's not right, and if you're having some feelings that are maybe getting magnified because of this isolation, then even if, you know, somebody's looking at you saying, oh, you don't have any reason to be depressed, or, oh, you should be happy you're not working, or, oh, you should be happy you're with your kids all day, you know, like, well, that's your opinion, but that may be different than how you're feeling. So just don't let anybody shame you into the way that you're feeling. If you have these thoughts and these feelings, then you need to talk to somebody that's a professional. You know, no matter what your friends and family thinks, how you should be feeling, how you are feeling is what's important. And you just need to advocate for yourself for that, whether it's mental or physical.
Yep. Put yourself first. Take care of yourself first. Like, it's selfish, but you have to be selfish sometimes. Like, you really do.
And give yourself like a timeline. Like, for me, it's like, okay, I'm going to be lazy until like 11 o'clock in the morning. Okay, I can do whatever I want till 11. And then it's like, okay, I've committed to 11 o'clock, and now I'm going to go take a shower or whatever it is, you know, just sort of give yourself some accountability, but also, like, you got to give yourself some grace too. I mean, this is just a crazy time for us all. So if you don't get in the shower, you don't get your deodorant on, or what, it's not the end of the world, you know? So just be forgiving. I mean, we wouldn't do that if a friend would call us and say, oh, I didn't take a shower today. You're not going to say, oh, you're disgusting, or how could you do that? You're going to be like supportive, you know? So just treat yourself that same way, and give yourself grace, and, you know, other people around you too, because everybody that you see that you drive past, well, we shouldn't be driving because we're in like quarantine, or we're in shutdown mode in our county now. But, you know, people that you pass or even interact with, you know, online, that's what I think this is about, is you're going to be they're going through something too, you know, whether or not they're posting about it or not, they're reading comments, and they're probably frustrated just like you are. So give them some grace in the comments. Give them just, you know, you don't have to play the game that they're playing. Be supportive. We're all in this together. It's not just dentistry, it's humanity. You know, it's everybody that's a human is trying to, you know, do the best that they can during this time. So just keep that in mind as we deal with people, whether it's on social media or it's in real life, you know. Just try to be kind. I think that's the biggest thing, and take care of yourself, and your mental health and your physical health. So
yeah, be kind, spread a little kindness around. Well, that was like our main message for everyone. Just be mindful of your mental health as well as your physical health. Unplug if you have to unplug. Block people if you have to block. I'm the block queen. I'll come back to you, but I will block you. No hard feelings, but don't allow that. Yeah, don't allow that to get that energy. Don't allow that energy.
And you don't have to even respond. Just don't say anything. You know, like, I think that's where people, it's like, okay, you don't agree. Okay, don't say. If somebody tries to trigger you and say something, let it go. You're the bigger person by not continuing that conversation. Just be done and move on.
You're adding to the madness that way. Yeah, no, I 100% agree. Not everything. Definitely. No response is a response, people.
That's a good reminder.
Well, thank you so much. Like, I really do appreciate this conversation. I have to go out. We're not quarantined yet, but if you see me on the road, don't judge. You're just business. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks for your time, guys. Good conversation. Bye.